So the UFC is in New Mexico for the very first time for a fun-looking fight night card. Benson Henderson versus Rustam Khabilov in the main event. One that, a fight that I guess maybe not a lot of people were necessarily talking about when it got put together, but one that now that it's here, I'm pretty excited about. How about you?
Yeah, I think the card is underrated as a whole, and the main event is between two of the best lightweights in the world. Benson Henderson, he's lost to one guy since 2007, and that's Anthony Pettis, and I'm pretty sure everyone thinks that he's the best lightweight in the world right now.
We did our staff picks at MMA Junkie. I think that Khabilov is a very live underdog, despite the odds that are out there. I couldn't pull the trigger. I still said Benson Henderson. Our entire staff went with Benson Henderson. Yeah. So is that the likely outcome here, or are you picking Khabilov, or are you just saying that maybe it's going to be competitive?
I think it'll be competitive, but you have to go with Henderson because if there's a rankings, he is 1A among at 155 in the UFC and in the world. Pettis has beaten him twice, but he's beaten everybody else. So you can't really pick against Henderson until he. People say he might have lost the Thompson fight. Does he lose many controversial decisions? He sure does, but he emerges victorious out of all of them. A win is a win, so you have to, until he proves otherwise, you have to pick him against the guy who's really a little bit still unknown. Yeah,
I agree. I guess I can hedge my opinion a little bit and say that a surprise upset wouldn't be shocking to me. So I guess that means that I get to slightly pick, but at the end of the day, I got to go with Benson Henderson. So yeah. I think it's going to be a good fight, though, a really meaningful fight in the lightweight division. Co-main event. Ross Pearson, Diego Sanchez. A lot of people saying that Diego Sanchez is done. The Miles Jury fight showed that he just doesn't have anything left in the tank. Ross Pearson says he wants to put on a war. He's expecting it to be a war. Obviously, we're in Diego Sanchez's hometown. What do you think? Is Diego Sanchez, are his best days behind him, or is this going to be one of those typical stand-up, all-out brawls?
I'm actually the most excited about this fight because the stakes are so high. And, we were at Media Day today, and Diego Sanchez is just so pumped. He's always pumped. He's never not pumped. But he's so pumped about fighting. This is his hometown. He's never fought here before in the UFC. Right. And a lot of people are saying he might be done. He's lost 2 in a row. He loses against Pearson. Does he get the the pink slip? But I don't know. He's one of those guys. If Diego Sanchez is anything, he's resilient. And you just never know. Could he come out there and beat Ross Pearson? There's no doubt. I won't say he's done yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens Saturday night before we kind of put a stamp on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Diego Sanchez still has something left in the tank. I mean, the guy is a true warrior. I mean, the battles that we've seen him go through. I think this is going to be fun. And Ross Pearson said something to me today that I thought was incredible. He said, "Listen, I want this to be a Griffin and Bonner type fight." And I think these two guys really do have the ability to do that, and would be a lot of fun. Now, we were kind of split at the Junkie staff. So putting your name on, if you have to pick a winner, who do you take in this fight?
I'm going to say Pearson. I'm not 100% confident in that because, Sanchez is just going to be so excited with his home crowd. He's going to be feeding off of it. And, he was so close to beating Gilbert Melendez, 2 fights ago. He was so close. He had Melendez in trouble, and he went for the choke instead of maybe trying to ground and pound. And we could be talking about something completely different right now if that would have gone the other way. Who knows? But Pearson, seems to, if he follows the Miles Jury, formula where he kind of picked apart Diego on the feet, I think that's the path to victory for him, and I think that's probably what will happen.
Yeah, it's certainly there for him. Pearson, I guess the big thing with anybody that fights Diego Sanchez is don't let yourself get involved in a brawl, because if you let yourself get involved in a brawl, he's probably going to outbrawl you. You stay technical and you're going to win.
Right, and you said Pearson said he wants it to be Griffin Bonner. Well, if it's Griffin and Bonner, it might be Diego Sanchez getting his hand raised on Saturday night in his hometown.
Yeah, I'm taking Diego Sanchez. I'm probably putting a little emotion there. I like those stories. A guy coming back to his hometown for the first time in 10 years to fight. He says probably the last time he'll ever get to fight in front of all his friends and family. So probably a little bit of emotion in that pick as well. But I'm going to take Diego Sanchez. But listen, like you said, Mark, this is a fantastic card, top to bottom. I think people, there's so many big fights. A couple weeks back, we've got a pay-per-view next week. But this is a big fight card, and I think people should tune in. So Fox Sports 1, Saturday night. Obviously, we'll have you covered at MMA Junkie and USA Today Sports.